Animal Farm, written by George Orwell, narrated by Stephen Kilworth. Foreword. George Orwell, pseudonym for Eric Arthur Blair, 1903 to 1950, finished writing Animal Farm in spring of 1943. It took 2 years for Animal Farm to finally go into print. The paper shortage stemming from World War II was one reason. However, politics played an even more decisive role. Orwell struggled to find a publisher for Animal Farm because it is an anti-Stalin satire. At the time, Great Britain, his home, the United States, and the Soviet Union were united in the fight against Nazism, which made the novel a bit politically incorrect. When he submitted it to Dial Press, New York, in 1945, they rejected it with an explanation that it was impossible to sell animal stories in the USA. Once it was released, however, Animal Farm became a bestseller, despite the fact that some early readers and bookstores misunderstood Orwell's intent. Some booksellers in Britain displayed the book in the children's section of the bookstore. In fact, Orwell personally traipsed across London to check the placement of his novel in the city's bookstores and, where necessary, to move it to the adult fiction section. It wouldn't be entirely unfair to say that Orwell is at least partly to blame for the confusion about the genre, as the subtitle of Animal Farm is a fairy story. While the subtitle was, like the novel, satirical, that was lost on a segment of his audience, and ironically similar to how the residents of Animal Farm missed what was really happening to them. While 1984 is Orwell's most popular and best acclaimed work, Animal Farm was his personal favourite. Not all readers will insist Animal Farm is a great literary contribution, but few informed readers will dispute that it's an important work and deserves its place in the literary canon. As a literary work, Animal Farm operates on 3 different levels. First, it's an historical satire about the history of the USSR. It closely corresponds, with some minor variants, to specific events that took place surrounding the Russian Revolution and the Soviet dictatorship from the years 1917 to 1943. Second, it may be read as a treatise on the themes of power, tyranny, and revolution. Finally, it's a fable, more specifically, a beast fable, that conveys uncomfortable truths about human nature. Animal Farm is written in the tradition of Orwell's all-time favourite book, another satirical fable, Jonathan Swift's Gulliver's Travels, 1726. Orwell says
Sample complete. Ready to continue?